Seattle Sounders and US men's national forward Clint Dempsey stripped of his captaincy by head coach Jurgen Klinsmann and replaced by a pretty worthy candidate, Michael Bradley, during the CONCACAF Gold Cup later this month. So I know you wanted to touch on a few of the things that was said from Klinsmann, who is very logical in his argument and makes a lot of sense. And he's a very good manager.
2 quotes, then we'll do some reaction afterwards. Let's take a look at the first half of Jurgen Klinsmann's quote. This comes from Seattle Sounders blog. I had a very, very good conversation with Clint about what happened during the Open Cup, but also about how we want to approach things. For the time being, we thought it's the best thing to give the captaincy to Michael Bradley and let Clint focus on what he's all about. He continued to say later on, hopefully in this summer's Gold Cup, Dempsey becomes the top scorer in the tournament. We need Clint in a free spirit, and that's why we decided to kind of take that captaincy and move it over to Michael for the Gold Cup, and then we'll see. Within the context of those quotes, he also knows that Michael Bradley is youthful and will be playing in the next World Cup, as we hope Clint Dempsey will too.
Yeah.
But Michael Bradley is as deserving of a captaincy as Clint Dempsey is, and as we talked before this clip, thanks to our producers here, when it comes to looking out for the best interest in the team, Jurgen Klinsmann has done nothing but an A-plus job, and I absolutely agree with him. Yes, when we talked about him ripping up the notebook, the diary, as I've mentioned.
The referee paid for.
It's silly, it's stupid, blah, 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 right? But I also understand completely where Jurgen Klinsmann is coming from, and it will be hard for at least someone who is, I'm a huge fan of the U.S. men's national team. Before I was a fan of any kind of Premier League, any La Liga, anything outside of the U.S. men's soccer team, there was the national team. And we've never had a coach like this. We've never had structure like this. We've never had a reason to believe in the team and somebody to lead that team. Mm-hmm. So when they say Clint Dempsey's the captain, I really believe that the true captain, the true leader of this team is Jurgen Klinsmann.
Yeah, and so this is a situation that has to be looked at from Jurgen Klinsmann's standpoint as what's best for the team, right? So his first and foremost priority, not about what goes on in the media with Clint Dempsey, not about what people are going to say about him after this instance. It's the team who he's out there to defend. He's out there to get the best out of his players. So this decision is no surprise to me. People were like, oh my God, why is he stripping him? Like, if you know in world football, John Terry, nowhere near the same severity. Clint Dempsey is not banging his teammate's wife, you know what I mean? But it's something that may have disrupted the chemistry of the team and maybe brought a negative light to the US men's national team as a whole. In this situation, same thing happened in England. What happened? He removed John Terry from his captaincy. What that allows John Terry to do is then try to focus on his game solely and not being so much a leader. Right. Clint Dempsey is an essential part of this team as a footballer. Removing him from the captaincy might hurt him a little bit and might think that they're backing off from him and trying to maybe not be have as much faith in his game, but that's nothing to do with it in this situation. It's to do with being a smart coach, which Klinsmann is, and allowing Dempsey to do what he does best, which is get his head down, focus on the game. He's got a suspension he has to serve for the Seattle Sounders. He's got a lot of people looking at him negatively because although it was ridiculous, he ripped out a notebook, he damaged the referee's property, it's in the rule books, he's not following the rules. Therefore, in that situation, you're not fit to be the captain because captains, of course, you're expected to encompass everything about the game that makes sure that you are treating your teammates as priority, because it would hurt the teammates more than anything when you get sent off. So right. Klinsmann's got all that in mind. Reminds me a little bit of the John Terry situation. John Terry returned magnificently to his game. He focused on his football more than anything. He regained a lot of people's trust, not Wayne Bridges, who was his teammate that suffered was on the receiving end of that. But anyway, it's something that coaches that are smart do to defend their players. Jose Mourinho will lay his life down on the line to protect his players in order for them to get the best out of their game. Like Diego Costa may do a bunch of stupid shit, but Jose Mourinho will put himself out there and be like, nah, he's fine. Like, all right, we'll play him sparingly for the next couple of games, and he'll get his confidence back. Bang, he's back to his best. Right. Klinsmann's doing the same thing.
So you can strip Dempsey of his captaincy, right?
I thought you were going to say you could strip Dempsey.
No, you cannot strip Dempsey. Well, you could. Some people could. You can strip Dempsey of his captaincy, but again, it's a fantastic way to handle the media. I know you like to make the Jose Mourinho comparisons. I like to make the Greg Popovich comparisons.
It's
like he's a San Antonio Spurs head coach.
I know.
You know Pop. I know you know Pop.
I know.
You love Pop. Talk about free agency later. But here's what you can't strip Dempsey of. And I think this is important. 32-year-old scored 40 goals for the United States and ranks the all-time leading scorer in the World Cup qualifying matches with 14 goals. Became the first American to ever score in 3 different World Cup competitions.
Yeah.
Like, the captaincy, it's an armband. And it's also one of the quickest things handed off when there's another veteran on the
Yes.
field. So he'll get it back in one form or another.
Yeah.
Whether it be his last World Cup appearance, whether it be Michael Bradley giving it to him. What I do want to see out of this is, and here's like the best side of the situation, it's a big boost of confidence for Michael Bradley that now he is looked at as the leader of this team, and all we can hope for is to get Bradley on another playing level.
And you said it as well. Clint Dempsey's 32 years of age.
Like, yeah, so 35 in the next World Cup.
This is the time to start to churn out the player who's going to come into that role and fit it so well. So this is the best part, I think, from Klinsmann, is the final thing that he said is like, hopefully in this summer's Gold Cup, Dempsey becomes a top scorer in the tournament. We need Clint in a free spirit, and that's why we decided to take that captaincy and move it over to Michael for the Gold Cup. That's exactly what it's about. Nothing else. No, not him viewing that Dempsey let everyone down, which he may have his own. Everyone's got their own personal agendas in that issue. But what he's thinking about is the team. And with Dempsey having the weight of the nation somewhat taken off of his shoulders because he doesn't have the armband, which in this country more than anything I see is a big symbol. You automatically get labelled Captain America. You're the person at forefront everyone looks at.
He got labelled. I think he got labelled Captain America when he scored the inside minute goal for the World Cup. But we know that was stripped. Also by Carly Lloyd last night.
And it's such a big, it's a huge name that goes along with some people, and people will rise to the situation. I hope Michael Bradley does rise to the situation. But the same thing is that Dempsey now is going to focus on his football for this, and if he comes out and scores, it'll all be forgotten.
I know this is a little off topic, but also real quick on the Klinsmann pumping clip, as we're going to call it. Julian Green is not on the Gold Cup roster because Klinsmann wants him to develop his skills at a younger age, and with the competition. Even though some people disagree and say you want to put him against better competition on the spotlight. I just have, until Klinsmann, I want to see what happens at the tournament. If the U.S. goes out and wins this tournament, you can look at Klinsmann and say, well, obviously it didn't matter.
No,
if they lose to Haiti, maybe he doesn't know what he's doing.
I trust his decisions, like when he left Landon Donovan out of the World Cup, every neutral fan was like, come on, man, he's Captain America. He should be in the team. And I was like, he's not that good anymore, so no, he shouldn't. And then when they included guys like Julian Green, I was like, awesome decision, and I don't understand why. I understand you want to let some players mature, but what's that?
I made you an armband.
Oh, you did? You're going to give me it?
Right.
It's not going to fit. My guns are too big.
It's too big.
Oh,
look at that. Beautiful.
Right. So when he doesn't include Julian Green, it doesn't fit. I think this is a perfect tournament for Julian Green to try and develop his game further, and he had such a great effect on that game when he came on against Belgium, and he had immediate effect. So you could still use him sparingly. You don't have to start him every game and have all the pressure on him, but you could include him in certain ways. So maybe he had different reasons, but I didn't completely agree with that. But what I do agree with is our commentators. I'm joking, I don't always agree with you guys, but I'd like to hear what you say. So leave your comments in the section below. Make sure to continue the conversation on Twitter at Francis_Maxwell, at JasonRubin91, at TYT Sports. And don't forget to come back again to TYT Sports because it's free.